Hello everyone, it's good to be back. So we are going to try to fix a PlayStation 2 from a customer where he swapped the shell for a very cool transparent one, as you can see, and he sent me a bag of parts where you can find the screws for the housing and the loose power button. So I know that as you can see here, the power board doesn't have its button soldered on, and he also complains that the discs are scratching on the plastic. So that's what we will be trying to fix today. So let's do it. This is the model with the integrated power supply. It's a very cool one, and with this transparent casing it looks amazing. The only thing it lacks is the PlayStation logo, where you can rotate it regarding using the console in the vertical or horizontal positions. So you can't have everything, but the looks are nice. So let's start by testing it and see if it loads games, or if the games are where are the games scratching and where are the problems coming up. So I don't think you can turn it on without the power button, but you can turn it on using the infrared sensor on the front. So if you have a cell phone with an infrared sensor, or if you have the original remotes, you can power on the console without using the power button. This second memory card door is a lot stronger than the first one. I don't know if that's normal or not, but I feel this is imposing a lot of resistance. And after using the port once, the port is not bending back, so we also need to check something in here. There's something wrong with the plastic. We can see that there are some burrs and some rests of plastic that are snapped or that need to be snapped, and that's some results of the injection molding parts. We will try to fix everything regarding that. We will use a scratch demo disc to test if the console is spinning freely. This brake for the CDs. As you can hear, the discs are scratching on the housing, so we will need to do some adjustments. Even without the brake, the discs are scratching inside, and we will need to make some corrections to the case. So before testing it with the game, I will just turn it on to see if we have a standby light, and after that we will start disassembling to repair the power button that's on this bag. So let's do it. So let's connect the power cord, and I'll turn on the power. And we have the red light. Everything seems to be working okay for now. Let's just unplug it. It takes a bit of time to discharge the capacitors in the power supply, and then we will disassemble everything. So top part is out. We will need to check what's interfering with the rest of the mechanism. When you put the disc in like this, it spins freely, so the problem is with the casing. I'll try to avoid touching the power supply anyway, so I think that's a good advice. some parts here have some marks of being applied super glue. You can see the white residue of the vapors of the glue. That's not a good sign, but let's keep moving, because that's not our problem. Our problem relies here on this board. So I will take the flat cable out, and now, as you can see, this is very small. The button is not in here, and we will go under the microscope to fix this. So here, as you can see, is our power board, and everything looks fine. No pads have been ripped, so I think this will be a simple job of cleaning these solder pads and putting new solder to fix the button. Let's just check if the button is okay, and I think it is. Button is here. It has all the pads in it, and yeah, and the pads look acceptable. I think with a fine tip soldering iron we can fix this. So I hope it's making continuity. He's a bit bent on the top side, so it was maybe some kind of heat that it took that removed it from the board. So let's put it back together like this and test. So first things first, we have to remove the old solder, clean the board, and then solder the new button. I'll put it aside and start with the job. Very fine tip soldering iron. Let's clean the pads. Here we go. Fresh flux. Should apply fresh solder, leaded one. This will make the soldering process a lot easier. So now we will use a bit of solder wick to clear these pads, and then we will apply fresh solder to put the new button. Oops. It's now a good time to use one of my new tools, that is a PCB holder, to fix this in place and not having the trouble to have the PCB bouncing all over. These soldering irons get cold quite easily because their mass is very low, and we need to use higher temperatures to work with them. So those two pads are clean. Now I'm going to clean these two ones. Yeah, this one is harder. As you can see, the point of the iron even sticks to the pad, so the pad is stealing temperature from the tip of the iron, and that makes it a lot harder to solder with very fine tip soldering irons. So that's why sometimes it's better to use very high temperatures with this kind of fine tips. Yep, the pads are clean. Let's just pass a bit of isopropyl alcohol to clean these pads and the space all over it, and then we will put the button back. Of course, we applied a bit of solder on the letters here and on this ground plane, but that's not important. So let's now put some fresh solder on the button, and I think we will be good to go. So let's see if we can hold it. Oh, come on. Don't run away. Yeah, it's very important to solder only one point first to get the part positioned. If everything looks fine on the button position, then that's the moment when you will solder the rest. So, yep. First point is looking okay. I will solder the opposite point on the diagonal and see if it holds well there. So that's what I'm looking for. Almost there. Well, that one was a bit hard. Let's just apply some flux and put some fresh solder in, because that one looks terrible. Now it's not going anywhere. There you go. Those two look strong. Well, let's check continuity and see if everything is working fine. Let's clean it. And hopefully we have not ruined the button. So on this side, and now pressing. Yep, it's working. Let's reassemble. So now everything should work fine. I'll turn it on. Moment of truth. Red light is here. Yep. Yellow light. It's working. Now to turn it off, press it and it turns off. So the button problem is fixed. Let's fix the rest. Now we will need to check where the interferences are coming from between the housing and the electronics. First thing I'm going to try to check is why this memory card port was bent and hard to turn in. So yeah, this has a glued pin in here. Yeah, the super glue hit the pin on the memory card port, and the memory card port was not pivoting around, and that's causing some issues. This thing is going to be hard to fix because it involves cutting or trying to lift the super glued part. But yeah, probably someone glued the memory card port board, and when I tried to open it, it just twisted this axis. Just twisted this axis, the axis of rotation, the pivoting mechanism, and yeah, that didn't went quite well. So memory card 1 is working perfectly. The memory card 2 one is glued. If I cut it or if I try to unglue it, it will break, and yeah, this is going to be complicated to fix. But let's see if we can do anything about it. My main concern now is the braking mechanism of the disc. That should slide back a little bit more, and the CD mechanism that is making the CD to slide around too low. So let's keep pushing. 8 minutes to go. 8 minutes to fix this. Here we have a very high pin. Yeah, and probably that very high pin is pushing against one of these two, and it's preventing the machine to close up properly. So we'll need to check that. Yeah. So the whole machine closes up perfectly here on the back. Here on the front. Yeah, now I can see why the button has been ripped off. Yep. This pushing this rod that comes here from the button is too long, and when you are reassembling this into the main body, it makes lateral pressure on the button, and that's why the button has been snipped off to the underside. That's why it was marked on the side. Yeah, this was, yeah, you can see that this was forced in and the button has been ripped off. So let's try to fix that and avoid the button being ripped off again. This will involve some board bending. Yeah, because this board doesn't fit quite well in here. Yeah, we all know that these Chinese plastic injection parts are not always done with the best molds, or sometimes it's to take advantage of older molds that already exists or something, and the clamping forces of the machines and the structures of the molding are not optimized, and the new parts that come out of old molds come with lots of defects. Other times the parts are from very low quality steel molds. Other times you have molds that already have produced some million parts, and of course they are in need of maintenance, but sometimes the maintenance is too expensive and it's not worth it, so they produce the parts with defects anyway. Yeah, it's complicated. You are always subjected to some kind of rework on the plastic parts because the molds they came out from are not perfect. Yeah. The rod on the button, prior to what I've said, it's not too long, it's the right size. If we fit the board the way I did, I needed to cut a little slot for the board to go a little bit back, and I think now we have enough clearance between the disc spinner and the plastic parts. So let's pop the disc in and see if everything goes to the right position. So taking the brake away, yeah, and the disc spins properly. So I'll just make the test of powering it up, and see how it goes. No. Yeah. It spun the disk, but it's taking a lot of effort because this brake is going too hard on the discs. So if I do this, maybe it will go freely. Yep. Now it's reading the disk correctly. Yeah, now it loaded the disk. This is a scratch disk, but it works sometimes when the laser is in good condition. So this PlayStation 2 is fixed. Let's try to fix the brake for the disk and then reassemble everything. Here on the brake we have a very thick foam pad that I will remove, and I'll check if I have any material that's a little bit smaller than this. As you can see, this is a very thick braking foam pad. So I'll check if without the foam pad the disc spins freely, and if it does, yeah, the disc is even spinning freely without the cover closed, so yeah, it's going to work well. Yeah, or maybe it can work well without the brake. So I might have a go trying to fix the memory card port slot that is glued, and because I don't feel comfortable leaving it this way, after inserting the card 1 or 2 times, this thing will break and customer will be sad. Whoops. Okay, so we have the memory card door free. Is it going to work well now? Yeah, maybe. It's not turning back to its original spot, but it's a pretty close shot. So memory card slot 1 is working fine. Memory card slot 2 is working acceptably fine. So yeah, I think it's a partial success. Don't know. Yeah, it comes off right there. So I might even take the whole part. No, but this is glued. I don't know if this is glued from factory, but yeah, it's a terrible job. So let's check. Everything fits from this side. Everything fits from this side. Yeah, memory card 1 will always work better than memory card 2, but yeah, it's working more freely now. Let's reassemble everything and play a game. Done. I don't have the caps for the screws, but I think they are with the owner. So let's grab a screen, let's pop a game in and test it. It's funny that we can see the laser working from this transparent unit, as you can see. Yeah, funny thing to watch. So let's grab a screen and a controller and play something. And we have this beautiful blue controller, transparent to match the console. Let's put the controller in. Everything seems to be working fine. And we can see the disc spinning. You can even see the laser position while it's loading the games.
As with sonar, the big problem with detection is interpreting the returning signal.
Let's try to play WRC. Mr. Richard Burns. Everyone misses him. So, as you can see, everything is working. I'll turn it off and on again one more time just to show it booting process, just to show the booting process working well. And there we have it, another satisfied customer. And so, like this PS2 is fixed and working as good as new. The only thing that's a little bit rusty is the memory card to slot port, but there's nothing to do there. If we try to fix it a bit more, it will break. So the disc brake system is deleted. We fixed the power button and everything that was wrong with the console. So now it's playing games properly, as you have seen. So it's time for me to say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry for not being releasing new videos as frequently as I expected in the beginning. I've had a lot of things to do lately, and every time I have time to get back to videos, I'll do it. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.